This is Bob Macedonio. Welcome to Street Legal. We're here every Thursday night on 103.9 LI News Radio. My firm name is Macedonio and Duncan. We're located at 126 Carlton Avenue, Islip Terrace, 631-582-3232. And I'm here with my co-host, Link.
What's going on, everybody? Good to be here with y'all. I'm glad y'all here with us.
You know, we appreciate everybody listening to us. And, we try to bring, current topics and current situations that are going on in our country and more particularly in Suffolk County to our listeners and see if we could lend a little headlight to what's happening out there.
Okay.
So, Link, as you're aware, race is a big issue in this country. There's a lot of, polarization from the news media, politics, the schools, the police departments, the criminal justice system. And, what are some of the situations that you see? We've talked about racism and how you think it's inherent in a lot of our institutions in this country.
Right. If you just take justice, for example, the justice system, which is one of our systems, right? Our institutions. And you look at just the disparities between sentencing, arrest rates, policing, brutality, like all of these different things, even down to murder. The numbers are so much higher for blacks, even though there's so fewer blacks. So we can't.
But the question could be asked, and I'm just throwing this out there but when you say minorities, I'm not going to limit on blacks, but don't they commit the majority of the crimes? Is that what you're just saying? The numbers are so disparate, or they were over policing? Like what's going on? What's the answer?
I think they was you was taught that, and I think that because of the profession that you in, and because of the disparity in arrests, the disparities in the arrests for black and browns. It would almost seem like that. It's just like we covered earlier, though, like on other episodes. What happens is white people get that benefit of the doubt instead of being arrested. So while we definitely going to be arrested, there's no doubt about it. Like, we are part of their job. In my mind, this is how I think. Like, police see black people as part of the job they need to be doing.
Yeah, well, you think it's like shooting fish in a barrel, easier targets? Is that what you're saying?
Less resistance, because blacks don't have the money to be able to financially pull themselves out of hardship, criminal charges, and whatever it may be. They don't have the money all the time to be able to do that. So it's more difficult. You'll get more time out of a black person in jail fighting their case than you would out of a white person, because obviously they would bail out.
What's the benefit to that? What you say that there's inherent racism in our justice system, and even we talked about the family court system as well. And it's statistically proven that a black or minority person in a situation in a hospital with a child is more likely to be drug tested than a white person.
Right. All of it.
So it's not only criminal justice system.
It's American racism as an American institution, right? Because you have to think about it. It covers completely everything. It covers everything. So if you take banking, right? If you take real estate, if you take career, if you take college, if you take any of these different things, like, you can, without me even having to elaborate, you can already get an idea or a feel of how the racism affects all those different things. And so if those things are considered opportunities, then our opportunities are directly affected. There's no way around
even
that.
I was at school board meetings in my local school district, last spring, and I'm not going to bring up the school district for the purposes of this conversation, but there was a group of individuals that were there that saying minorities and their black students were suspended more often than for similar actions than the white students. So not only arrested, not only given more time in the criminal justice system, but even on a school suspension, a fight in the locker room.
Right.
Black kid's going to get a 5-day suspension. White kid's going to get detention.
Right. You see, even in like almost, all right, for everybody who didn't check it out, I advise you check it out. It's a little gruesome, but the new Dahmer movie on Netflix.
I started watching that.
A
little grim. I couldn't get past the first episode when he brought that guy home from the bar and took the handcuffs out and had the knife. But
yeah, that was crazy.
I have to get past that one.
Yeah.
That's the guy that escaped.
Yeah. He was the one that got Dahmer caught.
Correct. He escaped and ran out in his underwear and got the cops.
Came back with the police.
It's kind of like a flashback. It starts there, but
it ends there too.
Yeah.
So because I watched all 10 episodes, and there's a very racial tone to the movie, even though it's really about a psycho serial killer. There's a racial tone to the movie about how he was able to pull this off because of the community that he was living in.
He lived in a minority neighborhood.
Right. He moved there like on purpose. He said that's what he could afford, but really it's if you targeting people who already feel left out, like blacks already feel left out and gays already feel left out. So you take black gays, right?
He was in a black gay bar.
He was in a black gay bar. That's what he did all his hunting. I want to call it hunting because that's where he went to go get his catches.
His next prey.
Right. But even in it, you could see like the way the police were ignoring the calls. You know, it was like a Asian kid who had managed to make his way outside during the show, and police was called about the Asian kid, like because he had drugged him up. He drugs up everybody, and so he was all drugged up outside the building. When the police came, they let the Asian kid go back up there with Dahmer. The kid was 14 years old, but Dahmer told him that the kid was 18 years old and he was just wasted, and he needed to get him back upstairs. They let him take him back upstairs. Those cops are later given accommodations for that on this movie. Yeah. So I'm assuming that
I gotta finish watching the series. It's gotten a lot of good reviews if you can get past the goriness of it. But
it is very.
We all know what happened to Dahmer in jail. They got to him.
It got bad.
He got what he deserved.
He definitely got what he deserved.
But
so
you really think there was racial undertones in that as well, because he's in a black gay bar and figured less likely to be confronted or less likely to be investigated.
Right. I mean, it brought out Jesse Jackson in the movie. Like he was played by another actor, but they brought out Jesse Jackson in the movie as an activist for the way the police allowed this to happen because of the community it was in. So they was.
And I think the lady next door to him was the older black lady.
Right.
She kept complaining and complaining.
Calling. She called like 5 times a week.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Like if that's in a white, middle class, upper class neighborhood, the cops are there. They're going in that house. They're searching that, see what's going on.
Right. You're gonna at least walk in to see about the smell they complaining about, right?
Yeah.
But the cops don't even want to walk into the apartments. You know what I mean? So it's like they're like, repulsed by it. Yeah. It's your job to come and check the safety of the people, but this lady's making constant complaints about how Jeffrey's next door and she can hear power tools going off and people screaming and thumping and all kind of crazy stuff and. No response.
Well, there's something to be said about that. I don't know. That's a unique case, so I don't know if we can take that as being racism in throughout the country. But
for the most part, if you call the police, they come. I'm not saying that. I have seen it, and it could be me panicking too, but I have seen situations where people get shot, and it seemed like the ambulance and police taking forever. You know what I mean? Like y'all want him to die.
You had a little incident over the summer, not to bring your personal stuff in. And, you live in a nice house on the water, and Suffolk County. You have a jet ski, you have a boat.
Right.
Cops came on your deck. You're a black man living in a white man neighborhood on the water.
Right. Immediately, the first thing happened was
what are you doing here?
Yeah, he ain't come at me like that. I kicked him back off my dock though, and I put him back onto his boat. You know, and we had all the conversations we had from there. But I really wanted him to understand this property you're on is private property. Unless you're invited on it, you can't come on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. He told me about how he was chasing somebody that was at my house on a jet ski to my house. Well,
which didn't happen. Yeah.
Right, yeah, it's a 15-year-old girl. She saw you. She parked the jet ski, came in the house nervous, not knowing what to do.
Correct.
So no, that's not what happened. But just the way they tried to handle me though. They also came to my house after that, not after that, but during that, also on the land, a bunch of other cops pulled up. So it got kind of heated. But end of the day, I think that
it got handled.
Yeah, it got handled diplomatic, mostly because of you though. If I hadn't been on the phone with you, I
had to calm you down. I'd walk you down.
I don't know how that would have turned out because I was.
That's what I tried to do.
Yeah.
But so we're going to get back to it, in a few minutes. But so you are of this. I shouldn't say we. You are of the belief that racism exists in almost every aspect of institution in this country.
Everything in America includes racism in it. Even if you think about,
even to going into the grocery store.
Yeah. You get followed around. This it literally exists in everything you can name. There's almost nothing you can name where racism doesn't
You walk
exist.
into Home Depot, I walk into Home Depot.
Yeah.
Right? If I walk into Home Depot, Lincoln, you walk into Home Depot, they're going to follow you down the aisle. They're not going to follow me down the aisle.
No, you could be in there stealing as much as you want.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be too busy looking at me thinking I'm going to be the one that steals. So it's in our education. It's in our legal system, our justice system, our real estate. It's in just imagine you being a black person
trying to buy a house in a white neighborhood.
Right, dress how I'm dressed, and you trying to go to Hollywood Hills and buy a house. They be looking at you crazy, So
show me the money.
Right, but that's another thing that my guy was. We're gonna get into that.
We're gonna get after a short commercial break. This is Street Legal, and I'm Bob Macedonio. We're here every Thursday night on 103.9 LI News Radio. My firm name, Macedonio Duncan, 126 Carlton Avenue, Islip Terrace, and again. 631-582-3232. And if you want to stay free,
call B.O.B.
We'll be back in a few short minutes. Welcome back. This is Bob Macedonio. We're here with Street Legal every Thursday night on LI News Radio 103.9. My firm name, Macedonio and Duncan, 126 Carlton Avenue, Islip Terrace, 631-582-3232. And I'm here with my co-host, Link. Link, we're going to pick up, and we just ended on the last segment about, how you are of the belief that racism exists in every institution in the United States.
Yeah, that's not just me being of the belief. It's like you can see proof of that, like anything that you do here in this country. If I was to go to the movies with a white girl, right, it won't be looked at so crazy because of how accepting America has become of that image, right? But that won't help me get a loan in the bank. None of those things. Like that image doesn't come with anything outside of like, some people may be happy for you, some people gonna have snide remarks, but it doesn't help you in any situation. So
I think we've come a long way from that. I mean, years ago, my mother and father got married. My mother was Irish, my dad was Italian, and my mother's father had passed away already. I remember my mother tells the story perfect, saying if your father was alive, you'd never marry a Guinea. That's come out. It was the same thing when a white dated a black, and vice versa.
Right.
Also, in your community, when a black female dates a white man, you look at it as a traitor. Why is she dating that white guy?
I don't look at it like that at all.
Come on.
I'm 100% into interracial dating, so I don't have
maybe this generation now, but go generation behind.
Yeah, like I remember my dad went through it because he was cheating. He had a white lady, and that was like a bigger deal than the fact that he was cheating. So I remember that.
We've come a long way with that because Jews had to marry Jews, Irish had to be married Irish, and Italians had to marry Italians. When you mixed over, it was looked at like you were doing something wrong. And I think it would really. You could kind of hide that more when everybody was white or everybody was black, but now interracial couples they're widely accepted.
They're everywhere,
and they should be. I mean, that you fall in love, get married.
East, right. The further you go out east, the more you see it. Like,
well, I think you see more in New York City, no?
Well, yeah. Then you get to like Long Island, and you get to like the very racist part of Long Island, like Eagle Ave and all of that, where you don't got no business at, right?
And I believe Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, his wife, I believe, was white female also. So it's all at the highest levels of the government as well.
Yeah, that's a fact. Even our vice president, she has a white husband.
A white husband, correct.
Right. So it's correct. Like it's everywhere. It's everywhere. The mixing part, but the crazy thing about having a partner wasn't
President Obama's interracial couple?
No. Michelle,
I think the father was president.
His parents.
His parents. The father was from Africa.
Right.
And the mother was Hawaiian.
I think she was might have been.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know he's not all the way.
She was white. I think she was white, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're going to pick up. So I think hopefully we're coming past all that BS and we can move past all that and try to address some of the racism. We have a caller on the line and we're going to pick him up now and see. This is Bob Macedonio with Street Legal. Who is this?
This EJ, you heard? I'm proud of y'all, man. Y'all doing your thing. So what we doing for the neighborhood?
What we got on the topic tonight is how of the position Link's taken that racism is inherent in all of our institutions in this country, whether it's from the schools to the criminal justice system, the family court system, financing, banking. Olu, who's sitting here with us in the audience here. Shout out to Olu. Even in the neighborhoods, minority neighborhoods, is you can't even get a good grocery store to come in, like a Stop and Shop, a giant Stop and Shop, or a Wall Bombs, or King Cullen. They kind of stay away from those neighborhoods. What do you think the issue is, DJ?
The issue is people not coming together and being unified into what we all need together, man. At the end of the day, we all need the same thing from each other. What we gonna do about that?
Well, that's the thing. I think no matter what your race is, what your color is, everybody wants their children to grow up in a safe, secure environment, get educated, go to school, and do a little better than the mother and father did. I don't think anybody, no matter where you're from, no matter where you're from, that's what you want for your kids. I'm seeing
everybody start up their own organizations instead of like everybody coming together to join an organization. You'll see like 9 different non-for-profits all starting up, and they all trying to do something, and maybe once in a while they would all collaborate to get something done. But overall, to tackle the bigger issues, that doesn't happen. They just get together and maybe throw like an event or something. And I don't got nothing against that. You know what I mean? Like bring the community together however you can. But I think it should be gathered just for more than an event. You know what I mean? Because we want to all get together at a park.
DJ, we talked about this with Link and I on another show, is that the lack of role models or the lack of people to look up to in the minority communities. Not looking up to the guy with the nice rims and the cars and the fancy jewelry on. You need to look to the businessman, the hardworking guy that's, putting the 401k away and trying to send his kids to college instead of looking for the guy with, that has the stack, the roll of hundreds in his pocket. That's the problem.
I remember, I don't mean to put nothing personal out there though, EJ, but I remember when we was kids. I think we had to be like 17, something like that.
Younger than that, probably, you heard?
Yeah, I remember the cop asked you, like, yo, if you got a couple dollars on you, I swear this really happened. He was like, yo, if you got a couple dollars on you, I'll let you out. I'll just let you go.
Really?
So EJ was like, that I would have been. Word?
Yeah, here you go.
Here, take this money. Yo, not only did he not let him go, he took him to the precinct and charged him with bribery.
Yeah.
He charged EJ with bribery after making the offer to EJ. Yo, it was the craziest.
I wrote that felony for 5 to 10 years, Link. I'm surprised you still know that, though.
Yeah, man, I'm never going to forget that. I've never seen nothing like that before. That's why it's so fresh in my mind. So it was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Little kids already know how to get about.
EJ, you know how many stories I hear coming into my office, guys get the traffic stop or they raid the house, search warrants, they got 20, 30, 40 stacks in the house, and then the paperwork says down, there's only 29 stacks here. What happened to the other? What happened to the other 20? Oh, that's what you had here. Sign the paper.
I remember I robbed the store. They told me that we caught them for like 12, 15,000. We only got them for like 200-300.
Yeah, exactly.
They got that insurance claim off, boy. They wasn't playing.
You come out of Home Depot, they got you with 17 vacuums. Meanwhile, you got one dustbuster.
That was crazy because they really turned EJ misdemeanor. He had like a misdemeanor weed charge. They turned this case into 16 months. I ain't never seen nothing like that. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at how crazy it really got like that. That's crazy it got like that, man.
EJ, so what do we got to do? What do we got to do in this country, in this county, that we can stop, some of this racial injustices and, make people come together and try to do better as a community?
Lou, a bag of bud, bro.
Yeah.
A bag of bud.
So, just like a bag of bud, like how you said.
A bag of bud, bro. They turned it into something because they wasn't satisfied with his charge. So they was like, they was going to just keep going until they added on to where they had him where they wanted him. They put him in crazy felony position over a bag of bud, bro. I never see. You can't imagine.
Link, the cops are mad that weed became legal now because that killed their whole game.
Fact. That's a fact.
You can't pull over people, the weed, search the cars. You can't arrest them for the weed.
Yeah, you can't use that for a precursor to anything that you're doing no more now.
Yeah, they had a free run for years with the weed.
But you know what I'm thinking gonna pick up though?
And so many of my criminal cases, so many of them started out with weed.
Yeah.
Start out weed.
My question is, how you going to be a DUI if they charge you with a DUI and you wasn't smoking, but you are a weed smoker? How could you beat that?
It's hard. Well, there are different tests that can be done, different blood tests that show metabolites active, inactive. There's stuff out there like that.
Oh, okay. All right. So they can get into how often, how long ago you smoked or whatever.
For anybody out there, my partner, George Duncan, the DWI expert, so 631-582-3232, whether it's weed, whatever you're on, drinking, driving, take the test, don't take the test. You call George Duncan. He's there. He's your man. So, bringing up weed and traffic stops, I wanted to see. This is a study they did across the country.
Right.
That black drivers are less likely to get stopped after sunset. You know why?
Why?
Because the cops can't tell the driver's white or black.
Wow.
Think about that. Statistically proven. If it's the middle of the day, you're driving down the road, the cop can see it's a black guy driving that car.
Right.
Now it's nighttime. Cop can't see in that car because it's dark. So statistically proven, less likely to get pulled over at night, a black guy, than he is during the daytime. That you tell me right there. That ain't called that.
I think I naturally knew that. I really believe I naturally knew that.
It's more difficult to determine the driver's race, which suggests that there's bias in the stops.
You naturally knew that, right? Link, how
many times you're driving down the road?
Yeah.
You driving? How many times you're driving down the road, middle of the day, cop busts a U-turn, sees a black guy driving that car.
Too many times to even get into it. But
he sees that smoke coming out. Boom, that car's getting searched, and the hammer's in the trunk.
So, we'll be right back after this short commercial break. You want to stay free?
Macedonio.
Call
we are
BOB,
here
man.
Street Legal. We're here every Thursday night, 103.9 LI News Radio. Macedonio and Duncan, 631-582-3232. You want to stay free?
Call BOB.
You got it. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Bob Macedonio. We're here at Street Legal. We're here every Thursday night on LI News Radio 103.9. My firm name, Macedonio and Duncan. We are located 126 Carlton Avenue, Islip Terrace, 631-582-3232. And I'm here with my co-host, Link. Link, so we picked up on the traffic stops and how, you're less likely to get pulled over at night as a black guy because the cops can't tell if the driver's white or black.
Yeah, I would be surprised if they came up with something for that. some black boy infrared or something. I don't even know. I wouldn't be surprised, man, if they came up with a new device that could detect. I don't know if that's a black man or a white man driving or something.
This is we talked about the legalization of marijuana.
Right.
It's pretty much coming across the country. I'm not sure how many states are left that haven't legalized it, but the first few states to legalize it were Colorado and Washington. And the studies found that after legalization of cannabis, which is marijuana, that the number of total searches fell substantially.
Because that was the precursor that they used to be able to get into whatever it was that they wanted to, whether it be your car, your pockets, whatever it was they was trying to do. They used that.
It removed what the cops used as the pretext to search that car.
Right.
So now that it's legal, and then is that.
You can't be like, yo, it smell like weed over here, because you could be like, I'm smoking.
But you know what it also found?
What's that?
That black and Hispanic drivers were still more likely to be searched than white drivers, even after the post-legalization of marijuana.
And what was the pretext for that?
Well, we don't know.
They was used to it.
They were used to it.
They was used to that. It was like, yo, it's a black man, it's a Spanish man. That's what we make most of our arrests within these, between these areas with black and Hispanics. And so we're going to search because even though we don't smell no weed or we can't use weed as a pretext to search.
There's got to be something else in that.
They got something going on.
That's the problem. That's the problem. I need to get to the answer to this.
Right.
Is because statistically proven, they're gonna be something else in that car, more than the white guy's car, or more than that's the issue the cops are always coming to.
How can we say that when the white guy don't have to be subjected to the searches? We can't say that. We could just say like we think that, but if the white man is not going to be subjected to the same amount of searches, or he gonna go through so many different traffic stops and never be subjected to one of those, or very few, then he's not gonna. Racial profiling won't be something that will be used as something to be able to pull this man into the jaws of their system. They won't use it for that. If most times when a white person has to go to jail, it's because the law was called on them for them doing something crazy, or just like, even if it's not crazy, just out of context, or something that white society is not trying to deal with. They're not trying to deal with that.
Yeah.
So they will call them on them. But even then, the cops. Jeffrey Dahmer got pulled over. Another part of this Netflix thing. He got pulled over drunk.
Who was the guy in the New York City in the 80s? That was killing the Zodiac killer.
Oh yeah.
Again, white guy
right.
going out killing all these people.
Mm-hmm.
You had the two black guys down in Washington D.C. The snipers. Remember they were shooting people.
Yeah. That was crazy. That one was crazy right there. That was my first time. Actually, my second time seeing. Like black serial killers.
That was more of a white man crime. What were they doing?
I don't know. I think it was trying out something new, man. It was like I don't know. I don't want to laugh because there was too many victims there.
Too many victims with
even with what happened right here on Long Island, Colin Ferguson. Just jumping on the train.
On a train. Well, that's mental illness. Mental illness plays a big part in that too.
Well, I don't think that the DC sniper dude, the father or the father figure guy, I don't think he was too upstairs neither. I think maybe PTSD had taken its toll on him. He's shooting bus drivers and people that's like not even. I don't want to call. If you're a bus driver, you're not relevant. But he was shooting people that was not like high members of society. So
then you had the two guys, the Oklahoma bombing in that building out there that killed all the the kids and the thing. Two white guys.
Yeah, I remember that too.
There's mental illness plays a big part in it. But all police departments across the country, they prohibit on their books racial profiling. You can take as many courses as you want, take as many seminars, classes, and go to training. But how do you take that racial profiling out of the offices?
All right, let's say.
And it's that, look, I'm going to put it this way. It's not only the white cops that are racial profiling. Mm-hmm. It's the Spanish and the black cops too. Because they also racial profile also.
Well, I think policing, period. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I think the word policing, you have to start with that. Like, well, how do they identify criminals? How do they identify suspects? I think brown skin, right, is like the first rung of the ladder. Like, okay, well, he's brown or he's black. He's chances are high that we'll be able to get him for something, right? And so then they go in and they don't stop until either they get something or you just feel so humiliated and bad about yourself that they was able to do all these different things to you that you grow an inner hatred for them. And then any hopes of having community and police relations is almost goes out of your mind. You know what I mean? Like,
what do we do? How do we fix this problem? How do we get to stop. I mean, you grew up in the communities out here. What do we need to do with the policing, the DA's office, the legal community, the family court community, to try to get a lot of this stuff to stop?
I think,
or at least bring awareness to it so it's addressed.
I think police should police. I think that they shouldn't be afraid to say something when they see somebody that they on a tour with or on duty with, and they see them acting out in a way that could be seen as racially charged or motivated by racism or any of that, or being too aggressive. Or I think that it's the duty of another officer, instead of backing this guy up no matter what he's doing, to be like, yo, let's take it down a few levels. Let's see if we can de-escalate this.
I think what they need to do out here is similar to what they do in New York City. You need to have a board that is comprised of police and also civilians that are policing the police, because police are going to protect the police. We get that,
right? Okay,
unless it's really such an egregious act where they have no way of avoiding it.
Right.
It's that blue wall of silence, and I get that. But meanwhile, when they get the guy down there, they want him to rat on his friends. But
why do you say you get the blue wall of silence?
Because that's what cops not going to tell on the cop.
No, they're not going to. But it's not that I get that though, because if we all took the same, let's say we all took the same.
I don't say I agree with it, but a cop's not going to tell on a cop.
Yeah,
because if a cop tells on a cop, the cop that tells he's
the black sheep now.
He's
quite literally
his career is
the black
shot.
Sheep. Yeah, he can forget about it.
What always got to me is those cops with that attitudes, and whether you have it, don't have it. As soon as they get a suspect down there, they want that guy to tell on his friends, on his family, on whoever they could tell on to get himself out of trouble.
You got to think. Cops think they tough, right? And this is like, don't matter where the cop came from, right? They could have came from anywhere, but once he get, with his guys, he got his uniform, he got all his got his vest on, he feeling, what's up? He feeling tough. So we got his gun with him. He like, yeah. If they all go bad, I can shoot. So if you think about it, like these guys that form these are gangs that they come into, like a bunch of people from high school who didn't have any kind of luck with women or wasn't very athletic and just kind of put to the side kind of people, because for as many people that don't like police, because not liking police is deeper than something criminal. You know what I mean? It's like you could not like their behaviors. You don't have to be a criminal to not like their behaviors. So when you have it like that and you listening to what's been going on in this department for 20 years before you got here, you're gonna fall in line with the tradition of doing things. And if they say, well, a criminal looks like this, he moves like this, he dresses like this, and they showing you, and most of what they showing you is people like that look like me or Hispanic, or they're not really they're not using a white model neighborhood for the train.
Taking the easy route out, because most crimes are committed by the people you're describing.
No, most crimes are reported of people that I'm describing. Most crimes are committed by white people. And in fact, I'm going to say about 80% of crimes are committed by white people.
What kind of crimes are we talking about? What kind of
all of them? Everything from rape to incest to you name it. It's forget about it. It's I don't want to get into it because I don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to make a white society seem like bad people. I'm just trying to say they get in trouble too, and they because it's more of them, they get in trouble more than us. That's just simple math. But it's also your uncle might be a sheriff, or your aunt might be a sergeant, or your brother might be plain clothes, or whatever it is. And so it's all these different connections. You get the little card they give you. If you get in trouble, to show the cop this. And so those.
Like, I think that.
Bro, we don't get get out of jail free cards like y'all be having, bro. Like,
no, that's what that.
Yeah, we don't got those.
I
know you and like 8 other people that got like a. Now, maybe it's not like, depending on what you're doing. I'm not gonna say you could be drunk and be good. They probably gonna get you. But it's so many different things that you could be doing and show them that card, and they just leave you alone.
I don't think that goes on like that anymore. I really don't. But I just don't. I think that may have been.
I never had a card, so I can't
20,
tell
30
you
years ago. We'll see. We can see. We can do work on getting you a PBA card.
Yeah,
anybody out there want to give PBA card to Link?
I want to leave me a loan card. Give me one of those.
You need a PBA card for Link. Okay. Yeah. This is Street Legal. We're here every Thursday night. 103.9 LI News Radio. It's Bob Macedonio and my firm name, Macedonio and Duncan, 126 Carlton Avenue, Islip Terrace.
631 582-3232.
Remember, you get that D where you call George Duncan. Okay.
Peace.
Back, it's Bob Macedonio. We're here on Street Legal every Thursday night, 103.9 LI News Radio. My firm name, Macedonio and Duncan, 126 Carlton Avenue, Islip Terrace, 631-582-3232. And, we're here talking about, racial tensions in the United States, and how inherent racism may or may not be built into every institution that we have, and we're trying to address some of those issues. Uncomfortable topic, but this is what we do.
Right.
We bring the law and the streets together and try to address these issues. Link.
Yeah. Like even what you were saying about the jet ski incident, right?
Yeah.
I thought about that later on, and I was like, damn. If it wasn't my daughter that was riding the jet ski, if it was
my daughter.
If it was your daughter, right? Would they have done something like, because you can consider it a microaggressive thing to call the police on a black family knowing the temperature between black people and the police,
mentality
right?
may be, there's a black person on a jet ski. Maybe that's stolen.
That's crazy.
No, but
that's a crazy mentality.
I'll put it out there.
I'm not even going to throw that out because that could be something like that. But the reason I know it wasn't that because they see me every day. Okay. Like they see me out on my dock every day. They see me playing with the boats every day, doing stuff with the jet ski every day. I rode the jet ski throughout the bay all the time. They never did nothing.
Yeah.
But as soon as my daughter got on it, and she made some waves, but nothing like police worthy.
Yeah.
Like you actually called water cops to come on a police boat to come check my daughter
for a no wake zone.
And so I thought about that, and I'm like, that's not a way that they would have handled their neighbor. Had their neighbor been like somebody who looked like them, they would have came and knocked on the door, like, excuse me, or even called. They probably even got their number, excuse me, your daughter outside, she wilding a little bit on the jet ski. Could you tell her to slow down in the bay or whatever? But they didn't. I just came and came outside and it was police out there. So it was this. It's just the way you get handled. And if you ever see those Karen type of white ladies, as soon as they get upset, they arguing with a black person. I'm going to call the cops and they know what they're saying when they say that.
Of course they know.
I'm going to call the people that's likely to come and kill you.
Because they know the cops are going to bleed me, not you.
Right. Like no matter how right you are, until somebody see a tape, they're going to go with what I'm saying anyway. Only a tape could disprove what they saying in that situation.
We talked about in our last show as how Suffolk is going to started introducing body cams. We've already had on a lot of the police cars, you have the dash cams. With the body cams, it's going to bring a lot of these discretionary situations where we have one word against another word to light now.
Yeah, people going to be way more careful. So we're going to have less reports of incidents because when people watching you, you're not going to stick your hand in a cookie jar.
But somewhere,
right?
Somebody's watching us somewhere on some tape, whether it's Ring cameras, the cameras on every street corner, surveillance cameras of businesses. You're getting picked up on tape somewhere by somebody. Did you see the girl who tried to steal somebody's package off their porch? Yeah,
on the
Ring
camera.
That Christmas.
Yo, she jumped off the porch and twisted her ankle in such a crazy way that when you seen it on the Ring camera, you knew not only was it instant karma, but she had to get carried away from the scene.
And she probably wants to sue the homeowner now, right?
Nah, the homeowner uploaded the film to get her caught. They ended up getting caught and everything for that. It was crazy though.
We like I said, we're talking about racism in the system, and it even affects bail. Some of the studies, or I should say all the studies, show that bail is set higher on a minority than it would be for a white person.
Can you explain that?
Crime. That's the judge.
Yeah, but I'm saying, who got the most money? White people or black people? Come on, it's an easy question. We ain't got to.
I don't know. Some of those hustlers out there got some money though.
You end up with it anyway.
That's true.
Well, what happens is they charge ransoms because they make money off you being in jail, right? So I'm gonna give you this ransom. Wow. Bro, we can't keep overlooking the truth. It costs
the county money to keep people in jail.
No, it costs the taxpayers money.
Correct.
No, it does not cost the county anything. It costs the taxpayers. And then what do you think happens to the change?
It costs the taxpayers of this county a lot of money to have people incarcerated.
Not as much as they being charged. Because as somebody who's been in there, I tell you, the blankets ain't great. The food ain't great. Nothing. Everything in there is hospital grade.
The medical care is really good though, right?
Depends on how cool you get with the nurse. You know what I'm saying? But no, outside of that, the medical care sucks. Everything sucks in there. It's they do just enough to keep you alive so that you can make it to your next court date and be able to sit in this cage some more. It's not even like it was when I was a kid. You go in there, gain weight, get brolic, and have weights and be able to exercise and relieve your tense pressure. Can't do that no more. You're just sitting around all day reading books, watching other people. It's a rehab now. You go in jail, it's just like a rehab. I don't even see criminals in there. I see people in there that look like they do not belong in jail now.
Here's we'll throw this out because we're talking about race inherent in our systems.
Right.
Many studies, and I don't know how many, but many studies demonstrate that African Americans and Latinos are treated different at every stage of the criminal process. Race plays a role in charging decisions, like what level crime we charge with, bail determinations,
right,
plea bargaining, convictions, and sentences. So every step of the way.
Parole too.
And parole. And hit the board too.
Parole too, right. So it's like if you think it's in that, and we treat it so without value in that system, what system you think is going to value us?
And I think even probation. I think a probation officer will be quicker to violate a black man or a Spanish guy than he would a white guy.
I've heard probation officers come into the same room I'm sitting in with like white people next to me and be like, "You don't want to go to jail." Like talking to the white kid, "You don't want to go to jail. You're not cut out for jail." And so I would just be looking like, "So I am? Like, what are these? Like, I don't understand."
Say to the officer, "How do you know what jail's like?"
Right, like, but because you know what it is,
he just assumed the black guy can handle jail.
Well, they don't care if you can handle like I said, the judge told a dude that told him, "Your Honor, I can't do 25 to life." The judge told him, "Just do as much as you can. We'll take it from there." You know, so it really don't matter like that. If you feel you can't, we can prove to you probably can. So we're going. They don't care about none of that. All right, but judge told me just do as much as I can. I don't know what I was saying.
Blink, here's another one. African American defendants are more likely to be offered plea deals that include prison time than the white or other minority defendants. So a black defendant is going to be more likely to be offered a plea deal that includes some kind of prison time.
Because blacks in this country are still products.
Well, I think
right, like you make money off of us, not you too though, but the whole entirety of this country makes money off black people.
I think it comes to this link that if a black person is less likely to bail out, he's going to be sitting in jail.
Right.
So then you come up, your court date comes up,
right,
and you got 60 days in. Your court date's boom, boom, boom. Now you know what? We're going to offer you 90. Out of 90, you do 60. You're going to take that deal.
Right.
So the white guy bailed out. It's much harder to put that guy back in jail.
Right.
So you know what? We're going to give him probation. But the black guy's sitting there because he couldn't post the 2,000 bail or 1,500 bail.
Yeah, he wished he would have had a 2,000 or 1,500 bail. Nah, they usually give you a ransom, like not for like a 90-day sentence or something. You're probably right about that, $2,000, $3,000.
Yeah, depending on what the crime is.
Yeah, but I seen like disparities to the point where it's like, damn, who's not looking at this? You know, how is it still going on? You know what I mean? Like, how could this guy have the same charges I have, same criminal history I got, even a worse criminal history sometimes?
Here's another one with, a study out of Florida between 2000 and 2010 showed that all white juries convicted black defendants 16% more often than white defendants. So all white jury with a black defendant and a white defendant, 16% more, they're going to convict the black guy and let the white guy free.
I think any defendant in the world who ever had an all-white jury should have a chance to revisit his trial, because that's a mistrial. That's a reason for mistrial out the gate.
That's part of the problem out here in Suffolk. The jury pool. You know, you can get 200-300 people out there. You can have 2-3 blacks in the jury pool. So
right.
You're a black man sitting there saying, "I want to jury my peers." These ain't my peers.
Right. My peers don't look like this. A bunch of people looking at me, angry, ready to blame me if everything went wrong in their life.
I never seen this guy in the dance.
Right. Ever. Never, ever, for any reason. But the juries is made up, especially here on Long Island.
But we know we got to get someone like Gabby on the jury. It'd be tremendous. You know, she's white, but she's as black as they may be.
She gonna let you go. She gonna let you go. That's it. She gonna convince the other jurors that we don't have enough evidence to say definitively that this was done this way. And I'm not gonna say that the prosecutor ain't doing his job, but he haven't done his job well enough to convince me that this guy is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And because of that, there's gonna be some winners in there. Yeah. So we need her in the jury pool.
So we got some issues in this country, obviously in this county, but we try to address them, bring them to light here. We appreciate everybody listening to our show, and we're gonna keep on this topic, for week after week until we get some headway and start making some changes out here, because it's needed. It's honestly needed. Inherent racism is in our system. I don't think it's done on purpose. It's just the way that we all grew up. It's the system and. This is here we are. We're going to try to address it. We're street legal. We try to bring the streets and the legal system together, and real talk from real people, baby.
Right. Anybody out there who got thoughts that I'm some kind of an activist or something? I am not. I'm just the voice of what's going on. Stop inviting me to your events and thinking I'm supposed to take this crazy stance. I'm kind of comfortable. I'm just still upset about things that I'm seeing, so I'm here to speak on it.
Yeah, we're just trying to bring these issues out there for the public to address. And again, Street Legal, we're here every Thursday night on 103.9 LI News Radio. My firm name, Macedonio and Duncan, 126 Carlton Avenue, Islip Terrace, 631-582-3232. And remember, you want to stay free.
Call BOB.
Okay? You want to get that DWI, call George Duncan.